Hey, have you ever been in a situation where you've delayed making an important decision or taking an important action? And a really good example could be you've got this kind of ache and pain, and you need to go see the doctor, but you delay it, and the cost of delaying could be expensive in the sense that it could get worse and require more treatment or more invasive treatment. So today, what we're talking about is delaying financial planning and how it could cost you more than you think.
Right.
So I'm Cary Smith, and I'm sitting here with Cheri Turner,
Right.
and Cheri and I are with Client First Capital. I'm a little tongue tied today, but I'll get through this video. So Cheri, why don't you take over and talk to us about how delaying financial planning could be costly.
Yeah. So let's start for a second and talk about why people delay. Um, Before you beat yourself up for waiting, I've sat across the table from women who just lost their husbands, or from people reeling after divorce, and from couples who were too overwhelmed to know where to begin. If you've delayed financial planning, you're not lazy or irresponsible, you're human. And people wait for a variety of reasons that seem to make sense in the moment, right? The numbers feel confusing or intimidating. You're already juggling 1,000 other responsibilities. Or you tell yourself, I'll start once I've saved more money, or I just need to figure a few things out first. Sometimes it can be emotional. If you've been through a major life event, like losing a spouse or starting over after divorce, sometimes your money feels tied up with grief or shame or even fear. And so it can feel easier sometimes to just avoid the topic than face what feels like just another mountain to climb. So the truth is that I've seen it again and again. Financial planning isn't something you do after life gets easier. It's something you do that helps life get easier. And it's the thing that gives you that breathing room, the confidence, and the peace when everything else does feel uncertain.
So, Cherie, I made a list before we connected on this video of reasons why I think people delay. You hit almost all of them, so good job. But I would say two others that I see with people sometimes is they don't have a relationship with someone that they trust, so they just don't know who to go to, right?
Mhm.
And so that can be a reason for delay or procrastination. And also sometimes they think it's maybe financial planning is expensive, right? It's not for free. But you and I both know, and we've seen this, time and time again, a good financial plan typically will way more than pay for itself.
Right, right,
So yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit more about the actual cost of waiting. So if we delay to make this decision, what are the costly consequences?
What does procrastination really cost you? Because in personal finance, it's never neutral. It doesn't just cost you time, it can cost you both your peace of mind and real money. So here's a simple example. If you plan to invest, say, 500 a month, but you wait just 1 year to get started, and you might think, what's the big deal? But the difference is not just the $6,000 that you didn't put away in that year. Assuming an 8% growth over a period of 25 years, that single 1 year delay can cost you over $40,000 in lost growth. And imagine the impact when you delay for a period of several years. That's the value of compounding that you can never get back. And then you add inflation to the mix. In 2025, inflation isn't just a headline, it's our daily reality. Groceries, utilities, and future retirement expenses are all rising. So if your money's sitting idle in a low yield account, it's not just doing nothing, it's actually losing value every single day. And inflation is like having a silent thief that sneaks into your wallet every night. You don't see it happen, but over time, it actually steals your purchasing power. And then there's the opportunity cost. That invisible threat is one of the most expensive mistakes that people can make. Because while you're waiting for the market to calm down, but what if it takes off without you? Or maybe you're putting off estate planning And then if something happens to you before your documents are drawn up or updated, your money could end up in probate. And then your family could face delays, stress, and legal fees that were completely avoidable.
So, Cheri, those are great points. And, what I've seen a lot is working with clients where they're saving for retirement, either, by contributing to their company's 401k or putting some of their pay into an IRA. And so they're taking that action, but that typically is the only action they're taking, right? So they're putting money away, but they don't have a plan. They don't have priorities. They may not, the opportunity cost could be that they don't have a good investment strategy. Either they're taking on too much risk or they have not enough risk, right? And they're not properly, allocated or prepared for the market or when they retire. They don't have a tax strategy, so they could be paying more in taxes today. Certainly, once they retire, they want to make sure that they've prepared for that with a good tax strategy as well. They may be missing out on some financial freedom today, or maybe even delaying that when they can retire because they don't have a plan. So there's I would also add that they're maybe not prepared for adversity, right? A death of a spouse or other family member, a loss of a job, a costly health incident, things of that nature that they didn't plan ahead to be prepared for. And so some people are taking an action, but they still don't have a plan.
Right. Most definitely.
So what are the things that a person, if you're either not saving or investing, or you are but you don't have any kind of plan, what are some of the things that they could do today?
Right. So there are some things that people can do right now to get started, because it doesn't have to be overwhelming. And the first I would say is to start with your goals. They don't have to be perfect ones or Instagram worthy goals, just real honest goals. If you want to retire early, help your kids out with college, or feel safe after divorce, write it down, because getting it out of your head is the first step towards clarity. Step number 2 is to know your numbers before you get started. Pull up your accounts, list out your income, your fixed expenses, your debts, and your savings. Because you don't need to have a spreadsheet, but you need that awareness, because you can't improve what you don't first understand. Third is to talk to someone. Reach out to a financial advisor, and know, as you pointed out, you don't have to have millions to deserve financial advice. You need someone, though, who can help you to see your blind spots, to simplify your options, and to tailor a plan that's specific to your life and not just a generic template. A fourth thing that people could do is to automate as much as you can. You talked about people contributing to an IRA. Automate your savings, your debt payments, that IRA contribution, because when you automate it, you remove willpower and memory from the equation, and that's a huge win for consistency. So the most powerful thing is all these small steps, they're not just tasks on a checklist. They are the building blocks for your personal financial plan. And the plan is more than just numbers. It's peace of mind in writing. It becomes your financial GPS, so to speak. There's no more guesswork, no more fear of missing something, just a clear, flexible path that has the ability to adapt with you.
So, Cheri, those are fabulous points. And so if we move forward and we start working on a financial plan or start working with someone, what's the power of that, or what does that change?
Right. So a financial plan isn't just a binder or a document. It's your sense of control. It's knowing what you own, knowing what you owe, and what you're working towards, and how exactly you plan to get there. So imagine the difference between wandering through a dark forest at night and having a map, a flashlight, and a guide alongside you. That's what a financial plan really gives you. It covers your investments, your taxes, your estate, and your income strategy, and your legacy, all in one place. So with those things all working together, that's when everything clicks. That's when the stress fades and your confidence really shows up. You have the ability to stop second guessing every decision and truly acting with clarity, with purpose, and in alignment with your values. Um, Basically, that's the real ROI, or return on investment, of true financial planning.
Yeah, I've used the analogy in the past since you used a map. I used to say, I'm in Arizona. If I was going to drive to Alaska and I wanted to be there a week from now, I wouldn't just get in my car and start driving,
Right,
right? There would be a map and there would be a plan, and the plan would have milestones. I expect to be in X city by X day, right? Which I'll spend the night, and then I'll drive another leg the next day. And and even though I might deviate from that plan a little bit, I would start with a map and a plan, to make sure that I arrive and where I'm trying to get to on time, and I know how to get there,
right.
and that I don't get lost. So I see sometimes when people think about working with a financial planner or getting a financial plan, they sometimes feel like maybe they're losing some of the control or power.
Mhm.
Um, I know that's not true, but could you speak about why taking this step gives you more power?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you have this financial plan, you're able to carry yourself differently. You walk into the future with your shoulders back, knowing that you've already made tomorrow safer, stronger, and more intentional. And when life changes, as it inevitably will, you don't just start from scratch. You adjust the plan, and you have the ability to shift without falling apart. And especially if you've been through any kind of major life change, such as retirement, divorce, a career shift, planning is how you reclaim that power. And it's how you can go from surviving to truly thriving. People think that they need to know everything to get started, and that's a myth. You don't need to have every answer. You just need to have the courage to begin, because progress beats perfection every time. And your plan doesn't have to be flawless. It just has to be yours, built for your life, your values, and your future.
Yeah, good points there. And to your last point, it's so individualized, right? Financial plans are very personal and they're different for every person. People have different goals and dreams and abilities, right, as they're heading towards retirement. So lots of good points. So Cheri, do you want to make some final comments on this topic before we wrap up?
The only thing I would say is sometimes waiting feels safe, but it silently costs you, right? It costs you time, money, and peace of mind. So remember, that first step doesn't have to be a leap. It's just a choice to stop putting it off and to choose intention and clarity over anxiety and confusion.
Okay, well said. So thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give us a like. It helps other people find our content. If you're planning for retirement, or you just want to have someone review your strategy, we'd love to help. You can head over to our website at clientfirstcap.com. And from there, you can schedule an appointment for a free financial consultation. You can also sign up for our newsletter and get good tips on retirement savings and planning and investing, as well as tax strategies. And we'd love to help you. We'd love to speak with you as well. And thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.